Hello friends! As some of you already know, and some of you are about to find out real quick, the judges in divorce court have a lot of discretion. That means that in the divorce court arena, the judges put a great amount of emphasis on the credibility of the parties. That means, are they believing the story you're trying to sell them? Are you likable? Can you control yourself? Can you control your behavior? Can you control your emotions? Do you come off as a responsible parent, or are you combative? As the judges sit there and listen to what you have to say and observe you in court, they're probably thinking to themselves, should I let this person have significant visitation or time sharing with the children in this case? Well, today we're going to talk about those things and cover it all with etiquette and tips on how to comport yourself when you're in divorce court. Welcome back to the Divorce Broadcast. My name is Manny Segarra, coming to you from Miami, Florida. All right, so let's jump into it with tip number 1. Arrive to court early. I cannot tell you enough or emphasize enough.
Do not be late to court.
Being late can negatively impact your case. Remember that the court and the judge, they're not your friends. Going on a Friday night, they don't have to wait for you to show up in order to conduct the court's business. As a matter of fact, if you're not there and you're not on time, they might do something while you're not there that will adversely affect your case. Also, if you are on time, in my opinion, you're already late. You need to be showing up early. So the rule of thumb, in my humble opinion, is show up at least 30 minutes ahead of time. Pick out your outfit the night before, get the kids to school or babysitter, and get physically to court as soon as possible and be there early. Tip number 2 is to remember to place your cell phone on silent mode. Not vibrating, silent. You do not want to be a distraction in the courtroom with your phone ringing or buzzing, especially if you have one of those cheesy ringtones. You don't want to have that issue show up in court while you're in the middle of a hearing, especially if you're testifying. Number 3, I cannot overstate enough, dress appropriately for court. You're not going to the beach, you're not going to the mall to hang out with your friends, and you're not going to the nightclub. You're going to a court of law, so you must dress in a manner that shows respect for the court. I suggest you wear business attire, a collared shirt, a suit, a formal dress, and avoid any clothing that has any type of offensive sayings or logos on it. Number 4, remember that you are being observed by courtroom staff, employees, and personnel the moment you approach the courthouse. So that means that you need to be respectful to everyone that you encounter along the way, whether it's the security guards that are checking you in and scanning you, or the people that you bump into in the elevator. You have no idea if they are associated with your case in any way. When you get to your floor in the courtroom, be respectful and nice to everyone. Be nice to the bailiff, be nice to the clerk, be nice to the court reporter, be nice to the opposing counsel, be nice to your soon-to-be ex-spouse. Must show respect, because these people are regular people just like you and I. And if you think that they don't notice how you're behaving, then you're fooling yourself and you're being naive. And if you think about your profession, you know that first impressions and that the way the people treat you and your staff really counts. Up next, make sure to address the judge properly. I always find it very interesting when a person says yeah or nah or uh-huh or to a judge. Always address a judge as your honor, or call them Judge, whatever their last name is. So Judge Jones or Judge Rodriguez, whatever the case is. You should also try to keep quiet unless the judge asks you to speak. So avoid interrupting the judge or speaking out of turn. Follow the judge's instructions. So if they want you to talk, they will tell you to talk, and show deference and respect by standing up whenever a judge speaks to you. Let the judge tell you whether or not you can sit down, but you have to show proper deference to the court, because that will help show the judge that you are a responsible and respectful person. Up next, when you're inside the courtroom, it is important to be on your best behavior. That means if you have a poker face, use it. If you can have natural reactions, such as a natural smile or upset, some tears, and they're natural, that's okay as well. It's important to stay engaged, not reactive. The following may be looked on in a less positive light. This includes any yelling. You don't want to yell during the course of a proceeding, or if the judge is talking to you and things aren't aren't going your way. Eye rolling. Eye rolling is also disrespectful. Finger pointing. Don't point your finger at opposing counsel or at your soon-to-be ex-spouse, even if they're upsetting you, or making faces. The nonverbal communication. Sulking or rage. If you're angry and you have an explosive temper, you have to hold that in. Becoming hysterical or overly emotional. All of these reactions can be bad or can be construed as poorly, looking bad to the court. Up next, listen to the advice of your attorney. If you're representing yourself, familiarize yourself with the rules and the procedures of the court that you're in. But if you have an attorney, trust their guidance and follow their advice. I suggest you don't distract them or talk to them in the middle of the proceedings. You also don't have to repeat everything or confront everything that's said. I always tell my clients, grab a notepad, write me a note, and pass it to me so that I can look at the note while I'm paying attention to what's going on in court. So listen to what they have to say. Don't distract them in court unless it is something very urgent or important that needs to be addressed. Write them a note, and then during the natural breaks of court, whether it be a bathroom break or a lunch break or after the end of a day of trial, then you can talk to them. I think it's a very important thing to engage with your attorney, but listen to their advice. Up next, and it's going to be a tough one for many of you, leave the cheering section at home. We know that we want our family there as much as possible, and probably our families want to be there for us as much as possible, but unless they're witnesses, they shouldn't be showing up to court. Same with your friends. Love our friends, but they like to get involved too much and they don't need to be in the courtroom. Same can be said for coworkers, and the same could be said for your fur babies. You don't need to bring the pets to court unless obviously it's a service dog. As the court case winds down, if something doesn't go your way in court, don't storm out of court throwing stuff or slamming doors or kicking chairs. That's not a good look. Remember that the judge and the courtroom personnel are always observing you. Remember what I said, from the moment you approach the courthouse to the moment that you leave. So if you leave and the last impression that the court has is you slamming the door and throwing a chair and screaming down the hallways, it's not a good look. And finally, do not give your children a recap or play-by-play analysis of what happened in court. It's so important to keep the children out of the court cases and to not let them know what's happening, because it could cause trauma to your kids, could cause them some sort of psychological distress. Plus, it may come back to bite you. If the judges find out that you have been telling the children about what is happening in the court case, you're going to be in some trouble and you're going to have some explaining to do to the judge. So we're hopeful that some of these etiquette and tips for how to behave in court were useful to you. Remember that it is important to comport yourself with decorum and respect whenever it is that you have a court proceeding in divorce court. Everyone will be watching you and assessing what you say, how you react, and how you conduct yourself, including a lot of your nonverbal communication. So it is important to keep all of that in check. If you know anyone that would benefit from the information on this video regarding etiquette and tips on how to behave in court, please have them look us up at www.segarralawfirm.com. We have offices in Miami and Orlando, Florida. Se habla español. Do us a favor and like this video, subscribe to the Divorce Broadcast, and we'll see you all soon. Thank you.